Welcome to the Backseat Thriver podcast. I'm Christina Johnston.
And I'm Bridget Kostas.
And we really think you guys should listen because we think we're pretty funny.
We are pretty funny.
Yeah.
We're unfiltered. It's real. It's sometimes what you need to hear.
Sometimes what you don't.
But tune in.
Tune in. That was good.
That works.
Good morning, backseaters. How we doing today?
Good morning, Thrivers.
Bridget, I don't know about you, but I'm thriving today.
Are you thriving?
Yeah.
I'm feeling empowered.
I'm feeling excited.
I put my
Tell us about your shirt.
hold on, let me move this away. Let's go up. Check me out. I've got my Chitara for Thundercats. Can you see it?
What? Oh,
What? Empowering my inner warrior lioness. Let's go.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Be afraid, David. Be afraid.
David, I'm so glad that we've got you here today because your experience, we're going to have so much fun harassing you. And
wonderful.
Somebody might even get hurt today. Like we don't even
It's going to
know.
be Christina. I'm going to slap a bitch today. Something's going down. Something's going down.
All right.
Just kidding.
Bridget is way too amped up. We're not even going to do our usual BS. We're going to get right into
Let's
it.
go.
I'm grateful to be confined in a small room today.
Well,
Stay in the box, David. Stay in the box.
is there a lock on his door? Because I am not far. I'm going to
lock
test out.
it. He's going to lock it.
It's not locked.
Oh boy. Oh, watch out, buddy. All right, guys. Today is super exciting. This is one that we've been looking forward to a while. We've been talking about this for a while. So we want to welcome Victoria. She is from... Hello, Victoria.
Hi.
She is the director and lead instructor at Tucson's Rising Phoenix Fitness and Defense.
The Women's Self-Defense Program.
Women's Self-Defense Program. Okay. So we're going to be kicking some butt today. We're going to be learning how to stay safe, how to keep your wits about you. We're going to be learning about some street smarts, some tips. I feel like just in the 5 minutes that we got to talk to you before we started, I've already learned so much, and I am so amped right now. Like, I just want to go outside and, like, roundhouse kick someone. So, Victoria, before we jump into all the excitement, give us you are so impressive. Tell us a little bit about yourself. She is a black belt. She has been recognized by the grandmaster in certain types of things that she's going to say in just a minute.
Just let her introduce herself, will you? I'm just
so excited.
Quiet.
I mean, all that is just stuff, right?
It's not just stuff, Victoria. You're a badass. So
I train at Rising Phoenix, here, which is confusingly here in Tucson, not in Phoenix. It's on Speedway and Swan by the dedicated bakery that you guys mentioned a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Same complex, so for anyone who knows the area.
Perfect.
I've been there since September of 2020. I had done a little bit of Krav Maga like 5 years before that. I took a hiatus when I moved here. But I started training there, and I'm a little bit obsessed with it. So I was training, 4 to 7 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. It's not typical for people to get belted very quickly. Just so people know, it's not like a joke belt. I put a lot of work in, but it's just something that I really love. The belts are nice, but mostly it's about training and teaching. I teach the women's self-defense classes myself, along with a couple other badass ladies that I train with. And we just try to pass along the knowledge and help everybody, like not just women, good people learn how to defend themselves if they find themselves in situations, that are dangerous for them. It's really it.
Okay, I've got to ask
that's really
the
it.
question.
It's no big deal.
Yeah, it's no biggie.
I
It's
just
no
save
biggie.
lives. It's fine.
I just teach women how to be badasses and protect themselves. But what drew you to this?
So I had heard about Krav Maga like a long time ago. Some people don't know what it is. It's a self-defense system that was originally invented for the Israeli military. And it's different than a lot of other martial arts because it's meant to be practical, like immediately. They had to put kind of a civilian force together in fighting shape really, really quickly. So it's kind of a mishmash of a lot of different martial arts, like judo, aikido, also with including boxing and just like dirty street fighting, right? Because in self-defense, there's no rules. So you can gouge eyes, you can bite, you can scratch, kicks to the nuts, like all that is.
I'm all about it.
Also, groin kicks work on girls too, stuff like that. I like it.
Okay,
Have you ever been kicked in the groin?
No, never. I hope to never be.
I'm a passive giant. I'm a passive giant.
David, have you been kicked in the groin?
Not intentionally.
Accidentally
I don't
playing
think it was like
soccer.
Yeah, I don't think it's like part of somebody's like.
Your wife
plan.
said it was an accident. Right, got it.
But yeah, to me, it just sounded interesting. I like the idea of something that was very practical, like street practical, and that I could do right away. I tried it out when I was living in Phoenix, and I just liked it. And I became obsessed with it. And I moved to Tucson. I had to take some time off, and then I found Rising Phoenix here in Tucson, and then I just love it. I love the people there. It's a really, really cool school. It's different than a lot of Krav Maga schools. And we actually have a majority women at our school, which is unusual. Most Krav Maga schools or martial arts schools in general tend to be mostly men, and our school, because of the environment that our owner, Jesse James Tucker, has created, we are usually 60 to 70% women in any given month. So
That is wonderful.
That's so cool.
And it's not like watered. It's not because we water things down. It's not because it's like the girl version of self-defense. It's just we don't have like toxic alpha male culture there. The guys there are really, really cool. It's not like they take it easy on you. They don't, they're not trying to hurt you, but they don't take it easy on you. And they're really in favor of like empowered women and women who can like kick some ass. So it's just a really great place to train.
Bridget, how are you feeling over there now? Is your heart racing a little?
It is. I'm like, I'm gonna ask her after class, like, all right, when's the next session? I think we should go.
I think we should go do a session.
Can I talk about that right now?
Please.
Let's do it.
For anyone who's local here in Tucson, we have women's self-defense classes that are open to the community every Friday evening from 6 to 7:30 and every Saturday from 3 to 4:30. They are donations-based. So we like to keep it that way because, not everyone has the financial resources to pay for self-defense training, and we want the people who need the training to be able to, to get it.
That is so cool.
So, free if you need it to be free, but if you can afford to donate, please do, because that's what allows us to be able to keep offering the classes on a donations basis,
That is amazing. What's the age group of
Any.
like
Any.
what is the age group that is majority in your enrolled in your classes?
So, for the women's self-defense classes, we typically get, I would say, probably from 20s to 40s. But we've had kids we had girls as young as, I think our youngest was either 4 or 5. And then we've had a woman who is 78. And again, one of the things that makes Rising Phoenix great, we have actually quite a few people in their 70s who train with us, like in our regular. Yeah.
That is so cool. Bridget, that's your age group.
I can do it. Thank you.
One of the things that makes us different, again, and I've trained at several different Krav Maga gyms, and Krav Maga was a military system, so it was designed for, a bunch of 20-something strapping Israeli soldiers, right? And that is not me. that is not most of us. But self-defense still needs to work for you. It's not like, I need to get a shape first and then I can learn self-defense, right? Like the sad reality is, like, your attacker isn't going to care, right? Your attacker doesn't care if you have an injury. If I heard you guys talking in one of the episodes, you can't raise your shoulder very high, Yeah. But we've had people who train. We specifically train one-arm defenses because people have shoulder injuries, or you break your hand maybe in a fight, And so we train working. One of the things we do is we take the self-defenses that we train, Krav Maga and other self-defense techniques, and if you have an injury, we adapt it to whatever your injury is, or if you have certain mobility issues or age, with age, balance becomes an issue. Maybe you have a cane or a walker. We show you how to use your cane as a weapon,
As a staff. Yes.
Yeah. You can kick someone in the nuts with your cane.
Wow.
I love this. I love
See,
this.
I'm so happy that we're doing this because you said this, violence does not discriminate between men and women, but there is a higher perceived, and I'm saying perceived, but it's real. Women.
No, the statistics are there. 1 in 3.
We need to be very alert and very mindful. And I've talked about this in previous episodes. My mom raised me very aware of my surroundings to the point where I am constantly, like, even right now, I'm like, who can come up behind me? Like, it is always there. We are on high alert, and we have to be, because there was this incredible study, and it put 50 men and 50 women into a room. And the purpose was really just for like a visual representation for both genders to really see what's happening. And so the facilitator in the room said, okay, I want you to raise your hand if you have ever walked onto an elevator and been really nervous about who you're in there. in there with. All 50 hands of the women go up. Not a single man raised his hand. He's like, walking on an elevator? What are you talking about? Going, up a staircase in a parking garage, walking to your car at night. All of these things, walking down a sidewalk when the sun is setting. Every woman raising her hand. Yes, I have been afraid. I have been alert. I have been almost ready to be attacked because that's just our culture right now. And it was really fascinating for the men to get to see that they are part of the problem. When you get onto an elevator, it's scary. I'm sure both of you have been on elevators and those door close and you're like, I am in here alone with this man who could break my neck in 2 seconds.
Be ready.
Right? Like, you're on high alert.
Be ready.
We've talked a little bit about street smart, so we'd love to hear some of your tips for what we should be paying attention to and what are some ways that we can keep ourselves safe.
Sure. So situational awareness, and I know we say that all the time, head on a swivel, we hear that all the time, but really, really take it to heart. Like one of the most common things, and I have to tell this with the younger ladies, don't be on your phone while you're walking, and I get it, like a lot of us, our work is on our phone, our lives are on our phone. I check my phone all the time too, but don't do it while you're walking. So like little simple things that you can do. If I'm on the street or I'm walking somewhere, even from a parking lot to say a building, like on the U of A, I go to the U of A for certain things, so I got to walk far away. If I have to look at my phone, I will stop. If I can, I will put my back against like a pillar or a building so no one can sneak up behind me. And then I have my back against the building while I look at my phone, and while I'm looking at my phone, I'm constantly looking up and scanning. So just little simple things like that. We're not saying don't ever use your phone, but, try to be aware. The other thing is like headphones when you're running or hiking or anything.
Oh, I can't do it. It scares me.
Well, I get it because I can't do the silence. I like having, the background noise, but I've got like the earbuds. I actually put them above like my ears so I can still kind of hear it in the music. I can hear the music, but I can also hear everything around me. So if you can't hear footfalls behind you, that's not
a problem.
Great. That is a problem, And then the main thing I would say, we can talk about like specific techniques and stuff, and I'll give you guys your Couboutons, but listen to your lizard brain or whatever you want to call it, to that inner brain, your gut instinct, whatever that is. Listen to it. I hear some people say like, oh, I got like a weird feeling, or kind of like a creeped out feeling when I saw this person. But a lot of times, and I think women especially, because we're like acculturated to be nice and we want to make other people feel comfortable, so we smile and everything, and then like if you get a weird feeling, listen to it. Don't try to override that with your like cognitive brain, because our lizard brains are there for a reason. You guys talked about reading facial expressions, I think, on the intimidation episode, right? And there's sometimes you can recognize micro expressions like on a subconscious level that you don't recognize, on a conscious level. And I just say, just listen to it. A lot of times your instincts are right. And I would rather, do like move away, keep myself safe, and
be rude.
Yes.
Rude.
Yes. And that's the other thing too is don't, again, I think a lot of times we try to make people feel comfortable. We don't want people to feel intimidated or like we're being rude. I just don't even give a F anymore. I just don't, because like my safety is not worth.
It's so it's so much more valuable.
Yeah,
your livelihood.
Yeah.
Now, and we were talking about this before we came into the studio. Victoria was telling us, some of the practicals, like at the grocery store. What are some of these practical things that we can do? A lot of our listeners, we have children. A lot of us are single mothers. A lot of us, we are going to the stores, to the mall, to the shops, to pick up, to and from work at, all the hours of the day. What are some of those, like when we were talking about the grocery store? Tell us a little bit about
loading the car.
Yeah, like loading your car.
Okay, so and this is something you can put into practice now. You just have to do it, and you might feel weird, but again, who cares, right? Like other people's comfort is not more important than my safety, and whether or not I look stupid, I don't care if I get home safe. Who cares how stupid or crazy I look? So a lot of us. When we load our car, let's say we're loading the trunk. We have our back to the parking lot and we're leaning into the trunk. Or when we're loading, say we're strapping our kid into the back seat if we have one, or just groceries or whatever. We're in the back seat, say we have our back to the parking lot and we're just, the front half of our body is in the car as we're loading things in the car, right, or adjusting things or whatever. It doesn't take that long for someone with like malintentions to come up behind you, shove you into your car, and then to drive away with you in your own car, right? Like, I mean, it's horrifying to think about, but it's something that could happen. So an easy thing you can do is just start learning to load your car sideways. So what I mean by that is instead of like leaning into my trunk with my back to the parking lot, I will put a shopping cart behind me. Even if I get like one thing, I get a big shopping cart, right? Yeah. And so I put the shopping cart, kind of perpendicular to the trunk of the car, and I will stand with my back to the shopping cart. So if someone comes up behind me, at least there's a shopping cart between them and me to give me an extra second. And I stand basically sideways to my trunk. So I load my trunk sideways, so I'm constantly scanning. I don't have my head buried in the trunk. Does it look a little funny? Sure. Does it take longer? Yeah, but again, I'd rather be safe. Same with your car when you're loading the back seat or the passenger seat. Instead of leaning your front body into the car, put your back against the open door because you have something between you and the part that you can't see, and load your cart sideways. Put all your stuff, your duffel bag, gym bag, whatever it is, groceries on the ground or in the cart, load them sideways into the car so you can constantly be scanning around you as you load.
That's such an easy, practical thing that we can do.
Easy.
I've never. It's so good. That's so easy.
And it kind of goes back to, do you remember when I told the story about the guy come running past me at Walmart and I took out my umbrella and I was like, whoa!
Yes, you were going to like poke his eye out with an umbrella.
And he goes running past and I was like, whoa, hang on just a second. You got way too close. And I scared him. And he kind of drew back. He's like, my bad. And he kept going. And he probably got like 20 feet away from me. And he was just like, hey, by the way, quick reflexes. I was like, thank you.
See, Bridget, I love
That's
this.
awesome.
Yes,
I'm scared. Like, I am always, like, I don't want to be, if I can choose, I don't want to be a victim.
But it's funny because you don't present as a scared person. You present like that. It
That's
was almost
my
like
persona.
Right.
You're supposed to see it that way.
Okay, but
big and confident and don't mess with me.
Your fight or flight is like, no, you don't even need to. Your muscle memory is so trained to react. It's so impressive. One of my favorite stories about you is when you were getting gas and you had just loaded your kids in the car and there was a sketchy guy walking towards you. And what'd you do?
I yelled at him and said, just stop right there. I don't have anything. Just keep on going. Just stop right there. And he was probably like, 10, 15 feet away from me. But and you can share this more, but we are constantly, man, woman, right now in just, this society that we're in with all of the homeless right now, there is no barrier. Like, there used to be a barrier probably about 15, 20 years ago. And now, I mean, you're getting hammered,
Left and right.
every other time you're at a parking lot, somebody's coming up and asking you for money. Mm-hmm. And there's no quote unquote kindness to it. There used to be like,
hello, ma'am.
Yeah, like, excuse me, ma'am, or like they sat outside of the grocery store and begged for money. But now they're just coming straight up to your car and they're coming straight up to women, and you have your kids, you have your groceries, and I think it comes down to being aware and having a voice and having that confidence. But
here's the other thing that you both have talked about, and you were hitting on this, right, where we as women, we're supposed to be smiling and kind, and that man in the parking lot, he could have been walking right. He may have had no intentions of talking to you or asking you for anything, so to me, and probably, I know I'm not alone in this, it'd be like, well, it would have been rude to tell him no because he hadn't even talked to me yet, and it's like, no, I'm gonna head this off right now. Bye-bye. Mm-hmm. I want to be like that.
You can.
I'm going to. I'm going to.
You have to practice it like everything else, though. Like when we do our women's self-defense classes, we actually have a portion of the class where we yell. We practice yelling things like, back off, don't touch me, let go of me. And that a lot of times is actually the hardest part of the class for the women who come. It's not the eye gouging or the practicing strikes or the actual techniques. It's the yelling, because I think so many of us, especially those maybe like 40 or older, 30 or older, it's not cool to be loud. It's not sexy to be loud. We're not supposed to have deep voices.
And be aggressive.
Yeah, it's considered aggressive and not assertive, right? Mm-hmm. And I just got to an age where it was like, don't care. I don't care. I would rather be safe. And if you call me like a crazy bee or whatever, that's fine. I don't care because you left me alone. You know, like you could have been an attacker. Maybe you weren't. Maybe you were. I won't find out, and I'd rather not find out.
Right. I don't want to be a statistic because, Bridget, the statistics are horrifying.
It's so scary, and it's everything that we're teaching our daughters today.
Yeah.
It's
1 in 3.
Be aware, you know, and what was it? It was probably 15 years ago that they're telling you, well, if you work out outside, you know, don't wear your headphones. If you work out outside, don't have a ponytail. You know, it's bad. Here I am with a ponytail.
Oh, I can show you the hair grab defense like today.
Yeah.
Seriously,
so,
I can't wait. It's super easy and it's great.
So hair grabbing, if you wear a polo, you know, even if you're on an airplane.
Do you work out in a polo?
Yes, all the time.
And maybe like some khakis?
Yes, I do.
But can I just say something about that? Not having your hair in a pony doesn't stop them. Like, you can even have short hair. I do this with my girlfriend at the gym who I train with. Like, she has really short cropped hair. I can still yank her by the hair. You know, you can yank them by the shirt,
There's
by
a
the
way
backpack.
to do anything.
Yeah, so like it's just the
backpack.
The backpack, back of a shirt, a necklace, a scarf, anything, and even short hair because it's a scalp grab. The ponytail grab, that's like second grade boys stuff. The people with bad intentions are going to grab you by the scalp, and it doesn't matter how short your hair is.
See?
Well,
always.
Don't
We
shave
always
your
gotta
head,
be-
Bridget.
Go shave it. I'm going to go shave it. Pull my wig, girl. Pull my wig.
Can I give you guys a present? Is that
Please.
okay? So I brought this for you.
Ooh.
Which one of you gets red? One of you gets black?
I'll do red.
These
Okay.
are our Rising Phoenix colors. So, would you like me to show you how to use it?
Of
Please.
course.
So, because it kind of goes with the advice that we used to get, you know, or the
Yeah.
advice we used to give daughters or daughters used to get.
Okay,
so
say
called-
this again. What's it called?
It's called a Kubaton.
Kubaton.
My understanding is it was invented by a Japanese police officer. I don't know a whole lot much more than that. There are fancy ways to use it. You can do like fancy things like finger locks and stuff, but I'm not into fancy. I'm into simple, you know, things that you can
Practical.
learn really quickly. Right. So the most simple thing. So it's a keychain. It attaches to your keys, right? So the most simple way, right? You can grab it like this for power, right? Like an ice pick. If you need more precision, you can grab it like this, okay? So here's simple. This is how Krav Maga is simple. Pointy end, anything squishy, right? So may I demo on you?
Please, demo.
Okay, I will not hurt you, right? So,
You can. It's okay.
Well, no.
I only need one eye. I only need one.
Pointy end, anything squishy. So think eyes, think ears, think up the nose. My favorite, right in the throat. And like, you're not going to kill them, but it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
If they grab you, would you mind grabbing my wrist? This is going to be a little uncomfortable. Is that okay? If you happen to get it, like they grab
Can
your
you
wrist,
just pretend?
I will go lightly, so let go quickly. Okay. Just take the pointy end, again, anything squishy. So this squishy skin right here in between you,
Yeah.
and just start grinding. It doesn't take a whole lot for them. Now again, like they might still persist, you know, if they're behind you, right in the groin. So pointy end, anything squishy.
All right. I will not be anywhere without
is
this.
going
from
on
now
my-
on.
Can I show you a carry?
Please.
We call this the L carry. So whichever key you're using, you know, whether it's your car key, I'll do it also with like my house key if I'm getting ready to go into my house, right? So whatever key you're about to use, on top part of the L, or however you want to call it, short part of the L, Kubaton, long part of the L, right? So the reason we do this is, say I'm walking to my car, right, and I'm ready to get into my car immediately. If someone pops up between me and my car door, I'm instantly ready to go. Does that make sense? If they pop up to the side of me, ready to go. If they come up behind me to grab me, there's your Kubaton to the groin or to wherever you need to go. So you're instantly ready to go and switch between your two uses. So I always, as soon as I get out of my car, I already have it like this. So that way you're not fumbling trying to find it, right?
Okay, that's smart.
The second thing, and this is where it goes to the advice we used to get when we were younger.
Hold your keys.
Yes. Did you ever get this? Like,
Yes.
Okay.
Hold your keys between your knuckles.
I never
Be
heard
ready.
that.
Oh, good. That's
Okay,
good. So
yeah.
we don't have to unlearn anything. So most of the time, like at Rising Phoenix, we say, like, whatever you know from the past other martial arts, what we teach is going to be in addition to what you know, not instead of. This is one of the things where I'm going to say, like, instead of, okay? So I've done, you know, first of all, it's like if my attacker's coming and I'm like, okay, wait, hold on 1 second. Wait. You can
Excuse me just a moment.
Hold just a moment. Okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready for you. Come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so that. Now watch. Okay, so, like, it sucks,
Yeah.
but, like, I can clearly keep going. You know, now people are like, well, that's meant to go in the face. Okay, sure, but like again,
if you get real close,
if you get real close, someone might be hopped up on something, so they don't feel what you're doing. They might be big and strong, right? But also, and again, I'll demo you, I won't hurt you. How close do I have to be to her to be able to do this? Right? I'm this close to you, but you say you have a knife or you can just grab me, you know, she can reach me too. So instead of doing this, also, you're actually liable to tear the webbing in between your own fingers when you do this if they tear this way, and now you might be down a hand, right? So instead, take your Kubotan, okay? I don't want to make a lot of noise, so I'm going to do this like quietly, but basically, and you guys can do this, take your Kubotan and move it like a figure 8 in the air. So grab it by the pointy end. Yep. So I'll just do one. See how that turns my keys into a whipping weapon?
Oh.
So now, instead of me having to be this close to gouge with the keys, I can be at this range.
Smack them.
And like, if you think that this doesn't hurt, I invite you to fill like a plastic water bottle with water, add food coloring if you want to have fun with the kids, and shred the water bottle by hitting it with your keys.
Oh.
And so imagine keys like this coming across someone's face, across their eyes, you know, you can do a lot more damage.
Hurt.
Right, and so now I don't have to have you right on top of me. I can be at a distance and whip the weapon. Wow. So turn your keys into a whipping weapon. So there you go.
Well, Bridget, this is going to fit on your keychain way better than the umbrella.
But umbrella is good too, though.
Yeah.
You know?
It was. It's got the tip on it.
You are
It
brilliant.
kind of has a Kubotan tip on it. Okay, is this TIA compatible?
Oh no! So
Okay.
they will. So TSA will take it away from you. There's like a TSA agent out there like that. I've got like 100 of these that they took away from my students. So put it in your checked luggage if you go on the plane. But you know, and then some places might take, some bars might take it away from you. You just gotta ask. You know, but I carry it pretty much anywhere. You know.
Wow. Have you had to use this? Have you been in situations where your training has kicked in and you've been ready?
My training kicks in all the time.
Okay.
I'm always ready.
Yeah, you're always ready.
I mean, so I haven't had to whip somebody in the face with my keys for real. But for instance, when I was walking my dog, you know, it was late at night, and I was walking, and there was just a guy that was driving really, really slow. You know, had to be less than 5 miles an hour because he's keeping pace with my dog and I. And then he pulled a little bit ahead, then pulled over and was on the side of the road. And this is like cold, right? So he should be like speeding down.
Yeah.
It was just, you know, and it might have been nothing. Maybe he needed to look at his phone, you know, maps or I don't know. But it was just, I didn't get a good feeling. And again, like, I don't care if I look crazy. I would rather be safe. Mm-hmm. So I took my keys from, you know, I moved my keys from one pocket to the other so that they were visible. And I pulled it out and I grabbed my keys like this so that the Kubotan was visible. And some people might say, well, don't give away what your defense is. I mean, maybe if you're like in a really high tactical situation, but for me, it's more like for the casuals, the more
Here's a warning.
Casual predator,
Yeah.
you know. They're more
You're
so
gonna
looking.
fight.
Yeah, they're more so looking for, you know, victims, I guess, of convenience. Easy targets, right? And so my signal is, I'm not an easy target. Like, I'm ready for you. I'm prepared. You know, I have this. And it's the same thing. I make eye contact. So I made sure as I walked by him, I looked right in his car and I stared at him. And that's hard for women too. Like, because a lot of times we're like, we don't want to make eye contact because we're like, I don't want him to think I'm flirting or I don't want him to come over and talk to me. Who cares? Like, because again, the person that wants to get the drop on you, they want to know that you're not paying attention. You know, so one of the hardest things I have found for women, and I teach them to do it, like when you're walking in a parking lot or in the store, I look around, and if someone's eyeballing me, I will make direct eye contact with them. I don't smile because I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be nice. I'm not trying to be a jerk. But like,
You want them to know that you saw them.
I know that you're there. I see you. You know that I saw you, and that's it.
Dang, why is that so hard to do?
It's really hard.
I love
And
the
don't
sound
smile.
of that. Yeah.
It is really hard. It's actually really hard, right? Because a lot of times, like,
It's
if
scary.
like if you grew up with like people catcalling you and all that, you don't want to make eye contact because you're trying to avoid everything and put your blinders on. But it's much better to let anyone who might be trying to get the drop on you, if they are, they might not, but they might, you know. I just make eye contact, you know, and I let them know that I'm there. So that kind of training, right? I'm always like looking around, even if it's broad daylight, I'm in like the parking lot at Target or whatever, I'm always looking around. I've always got my Kubotan ready, you know, and I make contact with anyone that might be looking at me.
Man, that's so cool. I'm adding that to my list. I'm going to try that. I'm going to stare at somebody this weekend.
And then don't smile.
And I'm not going to smile.
Don't
Don't
smile.
do it. Don't do it.
It's really, really hard.
So, okay.
Especially when you're when you're naturally a kind person.
Yep.
You know, to not, and it's like, oh, am I, like you said, maybe he was pulling over, maybe he was slowing down to look at his map, maybe, you know, you give the excuse.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it's like, don't fill your head with excuses as to why you shouldn't. Just do
Right.
it. Just do it.
Right.
Let's just do it.
You know, and then, there's probably people out there with low self-esteem like me. So one time I gave some money to a homeless guy, and he just looked really, like I had seen this guy every single day for a year, and he just looked extra sad to me one day, and just like something pulled on my heart. So I rolled down my window and I like gave him a few dollars, and he took it, and then he goes, "My God, you look like a supermodel." And I was like, "Oh my God, who? Thank you so much." And then I was like, "Wait, get it together. Go, get it." Right? So like my knee jerk is pathetic in these types of situations. Like I should have been like, "Don't talk to me," you know.
Now we know why Christina doesn't freeze in those moments. She's waiting for a compliment.
Excuse me, I gave you $1. I got a haircut. Did you notice?
I mean, you can do that while you drive away, right? You can go like, "Thank you." You can do all the things.
But, you know, I blame our society for that reaction, okay, people? I don't know if that's what's really in my heart. All right, I need to recover from that. I think we need to take a quick commercial break.
Sounds good.
David,
Get your shit together, Christina.
I got
Come
to
on.
get it together. All right. Take us away, and we'll be right back with some more practical tips. And then we're gonna harass David a little bit because he was a corrections officer and a police officer, so we know he's got some good stories and probably some tips for us as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, thank you.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday mixers, hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
On Backseat Thriver, we dive into the messy, meaningful moments of life, especially parenting and mental health, because raising kids today takes more than love. It takes support, insight, and sometimes a little help. That's where LNC Therapy makes a difference. A compassionate mental health private practice proudly serving the Tucson community. They specialize in supporting children, teens, and young adults through challenges like depression, anxiety, ADHD, anger management, grief, and more. With a team of experienced, heart-forward therapists, LNC Therapy offers personalized care that meets your family where they are, whether that's in person or via telehealth. Because every young mind deserves a safe space to grow. LNC Therapy, supporting Tucson families one session at a time. Visit them at 7493 North Oracle Road, Suite 135, or reach out and visit them on their website at hello@lndtherapy.com. Now accepting new clients.
You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
All right, we've recovered from that. We're doing some breathing exercises. Okay.
Got a little slapping in between the break.
A little slapping. So, all right. So I think we were just yapping a little bit during the break. I think one of the most important things is learning to trust that inner voice. And so you talked about that a little bit. Do you think that is just muscle memory? Is that something that we just have to force ourselves to listen to? Like, what would you say to someone who, I didn't want to be rude. Like, what if that, the guy didn't mean anything by it? And obviously safety first, but how do you really train that? Because I think so many of us don't listen to that inner voice, or we force
You're
our brain.
intimidated by it.
Yeah.
That's a great question, and I will say this as someone who, when I was in my 20s, probably didn't listen to my inner voice enough. And I think people sometimes say you can't train that, but that's not true. I think really truly, like, first of all, just training self-defense will help with that, because I think a lot of that, being okay with making people uncomfortable, or being okay with, like, I don't care if it seems rude if I stare at you across the street, that comes with confidence. If you don't have that, like, confidence or that sense of, like, I am trying to take care of myself first, you're more likely going to default to trying to make people comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, we all have that, like, inner voice, lizard brain, whatever you want to call it. But I think training to anyone can, like, try to listen to it more, but I think you become more comfortable listening to it when you have more confidence, because as you become more confident, you care less what people think about you, and you're more like, I'm going to do what it takes to keep me safe, and I don't really care, And what we found with, we have a kids program at Rising Phoenix, what we found with kids who come to the kids program, especially the young girls, because a lot of times they're in that weird age, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, where they start getting shut down. The little girls will have no problem being loud. Once they get to, like, 7 or 8, they're terrified to be loud. It's embarrassing to be loud. And as they take these self-defense classes, same thing happens in the women's self-defense classes, they get more confident, and they start listening to that voice more. They start reacting kind of like you did with the umbrella. We had one woman in our class, I think she's like 60-something, and some guy was just approaching her. She got that weird feeling, and she just turned around. She's like, back off, which is what we train, in class. And she's like, don't come any closer. And he turned and went away, And so, like, well, your voice is a powerful weapon.
Yeah.
It's just most of us don't use it, So I think it goes hand in hand with the training. You do have to train it, Even using your voice, you have to train. Sometimes people think that if they're in a dangerous situation, adrenaline kicks in and you just turn into like Superman or whatever. And maybe, but that's
not always.
But more often than not, I don't think so, And so, like, everything you do, like whether it's the self-defense techniques, or using your voice, or even just listening to your inner voice to begin with, you train that. And part of training that is coming to self-defense, developing that inner confidence, that kind of, like, I know that I will have a reaction. I might not be a black belt or a brown belt, but I know that I will have a reaction if I get grabbed in a certain way. Like, I will react. I won't just freeze, and that all of that, I think it's all kind of like a package. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And it was interesting because as women, we are teaching ourselves to be loud, to be loud in this space, to be confident, to be big, to be heard, and, to stop our attacker. And it was interesting because as we were talking to David before we got onto the call, or before we got onto the show, he was just like, no, from a man's perspective, we kind of slow it down. We get a little softer, to stop the aggressor from. David, do you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, David.
You're here.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
No, how you were sharing earlier about de-escalating a situation, like for women, to be big and bold and loud and strong in order to stop a situation from happening. You were sharing the opposite.
Yeah, and the way I was sharing it, it really was dealing with folks that were in, like, a mental health kind of crisis state. Victoria brought up a good point, like when you need to use that deep voice and give commands and stuff like that, those will happen. But there's been a lot of times where I was sharing with you ladies that this and your brain are the best tools you have in law enforcement. And people go, oh, what about, like, all the other tools you carry on your belt and everything? It's like, it's not. It's really how you talk. And people that can talk really well and think on the fly and kind of be witty tend to have way less uses of force.
Yeah. Love that.
That makes sense. I've been listening to way too much Dateline lately.
No wonder why we're scared.
I know, right? So, and I was thinking about that, and the part, I just completely forgot what I was going to say. I was talking, and I'm like, my thought is just gone. Dateline.
Yeah. Well,
Say something else.
Something else. No, like when you think of it, Victoria, like women who feel intimidated to start your class, women who, maybe walk in and take a look around and I don't know if this is the right class for me. What is some of the advice? How do you get them to that confident space where, no, you can do this?
I love that question because we get that a lot, actually. And I was also one of those people that was intimidated to start. Like, it took me 10 years to walk in the door of the Krav Maga gym in Phoenix. Like, I had known about it for 10 years. I was kind of like stalking them online, but it took me 10 years because I was one of those people who's like, well, I need to be in great shape before I can go. I need to be in shape before I can go. And then I went there and it didn't. I mean, obviously, like if you have great cardio and you're really strong, like certain things are going to work better for you, but it didn't matter, And so what I would say about, especially if you come to our gym in particular, I'm not going to speak on behalf of other gyms. So at Rising Phoenix, that we have people of all ages, all body types, all abilities and mobilities, people with injuries, people without injuries, and people in different stages of like being in shape, like different cardio, different strengths. And I would say, if you're serious about wanting to be able to protect yourself in real life, because it's not for everybody. Some people just don't have it. They don't want to, they don't want to think about it. But if you're serious about just wanting to be able to protect yourself, like not be a black belt, but just be able to feel safer walking around in the world, come. Because, like it's not like an always like a tomorrow kind of thing or when I'm in shape kind of thing. You should be able to defend yourself now. Like what if you're attacked tomorrow? You should be able to defend yourself and protect yourself in the shape that you are in today, like the body that you have today and the shape that you're in today, injuries, whatever it is, right? Because every good person deserves to be able to defend themselves. And so like for our class, I say to people, I know it seems intimidating, but please trust me. It's not like I'm 5'3". I'm not huge, so like I'm not a big, huge person. And we have, people, again, especially in the women's self-defense class, people of all ages, sizes. You don't have to be super skinny. You don't have to be super in shape. We have people across the spectrum. Come and try it and just see, And I know it seems scary, but one of my favorite stories, we had one woman in our class who she literally had driven all the way up to the door of our gym and then driven away. Like she worked up like, because she had trauma and some other things and she was really, really scared, but she needed it. She, like of a bunch of different people, really needed it. And she did that like twice. And then finally the third time she came in, she was like in our lobby and she was like looking really scared. We came up to her like, hey, it's so great to meet you. Come and try the class. And then she became a regular and she was coming like every week or every other week for like months. She became one of our best students. So, like I know that it's scary. But if you can take that step in the door, like that, if you can just make yourself walk in through the door, we're really nice, and we will do our best to like make you comfortable. Self-defense is uncomfortable just by its very nature, but we've not really ever had someone that was like, oh, I hated it, I didn't have any fun, like maybe it's not for you and you don't come back, but just take that first step and you'll realize like it's not hard, you don't have to be able to run a marathon to do it. Like I can even show you guys later if you want, like the moves are easy, like the basic stuff that we show, it's like sticking fingers in the eyeballs, right? Doing a palm strike to the chin, doing a hammer fist to the nose. These are things that anybody can do, And so like
Melissa McCarthy throat punch.
Yes.
I love throat punches. That's like my favorite thing.
RJ, can I try one on you?
Can I try it?
Yeah.
Can I try it?
So what I love about what you're saying, because this is not something I've always, if I've heard about a class, I'm like, oh, we should try that sometime, but I've never intentionally made the effort to do it. What you're saying makes me feel so much less intimidated that it is for everyone, no matter where you're at, no matter what shape, size you're at, you can do it.
And I feel like for, like I always tell you, like, oh, it's scary in here. I've got a lot, everybody's out to get me. Something's going to break. Something's going to attack me, whatever it may be. Like I can't park in a secluded area. So somebody's going to get me. Like it's kind of scary up there. And I really do. I am eager to take that fear from fear to awareness, and from fear to insight, and from, I think it's always good to be a little bit, I don't think scared is the right word, like scared of your surroundings.
I think apprehensive is good.
Apprehensive. I want to go from fearful to apprehensive and aware.
I love the way you said that.
I do.
Well said.
I would say I think you're already pretty aware. You know, you
No
said you want to go
kidding.
to awareness, but you're already
Yeah.
doing things that we teach people to do. Like when you did the umbrella, that's
Yeah.
basically an improvised weapon. You took something in your environment and turned it into a weapon. And the fact that you're even aware of him, and then that
Yeah.
you made like that action step of taking that into like, stay away from me. Like that's so hard for most people to
Beat
do.
you like Mary Poppins right now.
There you go.
It's gonna happen.
Yes.
Mary Poppins on the dark side. over
Yes.
here.
So
Yeah.
you know you have that fight instinct. I love that.
I want to empower it.
Will you be my bodyguard?
Will you pay me good?
Maybe we'll fall in love. It'll be a Whitney Houston story.
But you know, even if you don't have that instinct naturally, you can develop it. You know, we've seen people who come to the classes who went from not feeling like they had that to like they have it. You know, it's like they turned on a switch. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I say come try it out, and like if it's intimidating for you to work with like as a woman, if it's intimidating for you to work with guys, just come to the women's self-defense class because it's only for women or you know people who identify as women, and you know come to that class. And then it's not a watered down version of self-defense. I want to be really clear about that. Sometimes people think it's going to be like the girls' version.
Wimpy version.
It is not. We do exactly what we teach in the general classes. The biggest difference I would say is just, you know, women get attacked differently, right? Like we get pulled by the hair a lot more. We get pushed up against a wall or we end up on the ground a lot, right? I mean, it's just the nature of attacks against women. So we train a lot of, it's the same techniques, but we focus on a lot of the techniques where, you know, the more common assaults that women have. And the way we run the women's self-defense classes at Rising Phoenix is we ask the women in class who are there that day, what do you want to learn? We don't tell you what we think you need to know. You know, we start with basics because everyone needs basics, you know, like eye gouges and all that. But then we say, like, what is a self-defense scenario that you would want to train today? Like, what freaks you out? Is it being grabbed by the hair? Is it being pinned on the ground, pinned against the wall? And so every class is different. It's not like you come to one class and that's it. You can come to as many of
You
the...
can customize it.
Yeah, you do.
That's really cool.
So, and every class is completely different because it's based on what the women that day ask for, you know, and so that's why we have women who keep coming back because every time they either see something different or maybe they review something they've seen before, but it's based on what the ladies that day ask for.
I love this.
You know what I think one of the scariest parts about this is, and Bridget, you have the stat on this one, but the majority of the attacks are from partners, right? And so
An intimate
learning
partner.
learning to defend yourself in your own home. I think having the confidence that you have those skills if you're put in that position, it's terrifying. But how important is that?
Yeah.
I mean, that becomes tricky too, though, right? Because we get those women too, and it's a little bit different than stranger attacks because a lot of times in stranger attacks, like, we don't care what damage we do. We're like, I will do whatever it takes to get away. Cool. But if the person is your partner, then we run into situations like, well, I don't really want to hurt him. I just want him to stop hurting me, right? And so then it becomes really tricky because what if the only way to be able to get out is to do some damage? And then you have to worry about retaliation, you know? So there's a lot of considerations, and we deal with that in the class all the
You
time.
work
You
with
know?
people from all walks of life.
We do. And like sometimes, like, not every answer has to be violent, you know? So for instance, one time we had an 8th grade girl, her mom brought her. She was dealing with a boy at school who would do the arm around the shoulder, you know, where the hand, like, it's not grabbing the boob, but it is, but it isn't, but it is, you know? The principals were great. They were like, oh, well, it's just boys being boys. Okay. You know? So, you know, like, in a normal self-defense situation, if that were just like on the street, stranger, adults, I'd say just throw an elbow, like teach them not to grab you. But she can't do that at school because then she's going to be the one getting expelled, even though why is he being allowed to do that?
Yeah.
So we have, you know, non-violent answers. She can't elbow him, so we teach things like joint locks. We'll show a little more like advanced, you know, but it's a way of like getting someone to let go of you. You put them in, you know, kind of like a lock, you know, think like an arm bar, you know, so like a joint lock with a wrist lock to get them to let go without breaking them, you know. And again, it's more advanced, but sometimes we have to do those answers. You know, we had someone who was a flight attendant. She has to deal with dangerous passengers. She can't beat up the passenger. So we have to deal with like self-defenses that we talk about de-escalation.
Well, if she's
too.
on Delta, she could, you know.
So, yeah, you know, so all those, that's how we customize it too, because sometimes you can't always just beat the crap out of the person who's coming at you.
Yeah.
Which that is so interesting too. Just even
fascinating.
those like just even what you're saying, those uncomfortable, I mean, we've all dealt with sexual harassment in the workplace. It as much as we want to
Not even just the
say
workplace,
that it does
at school,
well, exactly.
the workplace.
Yes,
Yeah, you name it.
whatever your environment is, it happens, and no amount of HR training or school talks from your principal, it doesn't stop it. And so to be able to have those types of skills that are not violent but still get the point across,
Put you in power.
But I think like there has to be that mental shift. As we're sitting here talking about all of this, I'm really thinking in my head, oh my gosh, I have to shift from that, like worrying about everyone else, to screw you guys. I'm going to protect myself
Yes.
and my loved ones.
Yes.
And I don't care how crazy I look. I mean, I think you really kind of have to get yourself into that place, which is kind of exciting. I feel like
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
I think that's the first step, really,
Yeah.
honestly, like caring less about what people think and more about my safety and the safety of my family and loved ones first.
Yeah. So, Victoria, if you were going to sort of wrap up into a nice little package some of our, we've got the shopping cart, like give us your top few tips for people out there to stay safe. Let's just do like a quick recap for us.
Okay, so stay aware. And I know that sounds generic, but most people don't really do it. So really be aware. Try not to have your head buried where you can't see or you can't hear, and head on a swivel. Like, who cares if people think you look paranoid, Like, it's not paranoid if somebody's really out to get you. You know what I mean? So
It's not paranoia, it's prevention.
there you
There
go.
you go.
So be aware. Find your confidence. Don't be afraid to use your voice. Like it's your voice is a weapon and your voice is powerful, and don't be afraid to use it, whether it's yelling or even just saying things like back off, stay away from me, worry less about what people think and more about your own safety. And then if you have a chance to come to a self-defense class, and again, this isn't me trying to just like shill the gym. I'm a big advocate for not just women, but all good people learning basic self-defense, learn some weak point strikes. That's like the most important thing you can learn, like you don't want to get in a boxing match with someone who's 3 times your size. That's not practical, So learn weak point strikes, like going for the eyeballs, going for the throat, going for the nose, the ears, the chin, things like that, kicking them in the groin. If you've got some basic weak point strikes in your pocket, train that coming out of you, training your kind of like fast response instead of freezing. That's a good first step.
You know what I think would be a good practice? If anybody, I mean, I'm going to do this driving home because I'll be alone. I'm going to yell back off. Okay, so I'm going to say like back off. No, but I'm going to yell because the last time I yelled, this was not that long ago, and my kid looked at me and he goes, "You rattled my ears. I didn't know you could yell that loud." I'm like, "Well, I wouldn't have to if you would just feed the dog, whatever."
Yeah.
But to find that almost like ugly, yes.
Yeah.
And just like yell in your car. Because I imagine that is very uncomfortable.
It is.
I feel uncomfortable.
Fear takes your breath away.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
When you're scared, it's like,
And may I say, instead of yelling no, practice yelling things, so like commands, right?
Okay.
So not because no means no, like obviously stop means stop, but think about people who can't see what's happening but can only hear what's happening. No and stop could be anything, right? Like you could be yelling at your kid, you could be yelling at your dog, your partner, right? Your annoying little brother. Like it could be any number of things. It doesn't necessarily communicate your situation. But if you're yelling things like back off, get away from me, don't touch me, let go of me. Anyone who hears that knows that you're in a situation that you don't want to be in, but also you're like asserting, and for someone who wants like to grab you in like a moment of weakness, or they think you're an easy target, you're now issuing assertive commands at them. You're taking that power in a way. Does that make sense?
I like that.
love it.
And that's a good point, right? Because don't people say if you need help, yell fire instead of help?
Help
will
freaks
come-
people out.
Yeah.
Help freaks people out.
Fire people will come to.
Yeah.
That's like I remember like in high school they said, don't yell rape, yell fire. Because nobody's going to come if you're yelling rape. People will come to help if you yell fire.
Okay, so back off, don't touch me, let go of me. Did I get
Yeah,
them?
those
Okay.
are get away from me.
Get away from
Anything
me.
like that.
Love it. Victoria, how do people find you? Tell us.
So if you're here in Tucson, we are Rising Phoenix. We are on Speedway and Swan. You can find us online at Tucson Self Defense and Fitness. changers.com. And our owner, Jesse James Tucker, he's available by phone and by text. The number that's on our website, that's him. You can get to him directly. If you want to come to our women's self-defense classes, like I said, every Friday evening from 6 to 7:30, every Saturday afternoon from 3 to 4:30, you don't have to pre-register. Just show up. And we just have you fill out like a waiver, and then you can jump right into class. You don't need to train anything beforehand, and it's a really fun time. I promise it's a really fun time.
Bridget, you, me, next week.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I gotta get my
Pencil me in.
stretches.
Yeah.
Let me get my steroid injections before
Victoria
I come
just said
over.
you don't need to do
Oh, yeah, that's
anything.
right. That's right.
It's okay.
No,
It's okay.
absolutely.
Come as you are.
100%.
Okay.
We're going.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
thrivers.
We'll report back.
Ask for the hair grab defense, since you asked about that
Yeah.
one. Ask for the hair grab defense, but ask for whatever you want. Like what if someone's strangling you with a rope? We can show you that one. What if someone has you pinned on the ground? We'll show you that one. Ask for anything you want.
Oh, I love this.
I feel really good right now. This makes me feel.
I love that there's these resources, that we have these resources, and that, your organization is doing these for donation and to just bring awareness to the community. So thank you,
And I will
guys.
say too, just if you have kids, we have kids classes, and it's not just for the women. We've got a lot of guys who train there too, so they can come try our Krav Maga classes, our self-defense classes. They just have to get in touch with Jesse through our website, and it doesn't cost anything to come try a class. We want you to come try it and see if you like it.
Let's
This
do
is
it.
really exciting.
We're doing it.
All right,
Moms, you're doing it with us.
let's do it. I might bring my kid out to do this.
Right? You
should.
He's dying to throw a punch, though. I mean, he's like looking for a reason. He's like, Mom, that dog looked at me sideways. I'm like, no, no, he didn't.
Maybe anger management. Maybe we start there, Christina.
All right, we'll report back on that. Victoria, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you guys for having
you.
me, and thank you for inviting us out here.
Thank you
I
for
love
all
what we
that you're
do.
doing to empower the females in our community and
Well,
males
come
and
in-
children.
Yeah, come in and be empowered and learn how to defend yourself.
gonna do it.
The more of
We're
us
gonna
that
do
are
it.
out there,
Yeah.
Love
bad
it.
guys don't win.
All right. Let's close this out, Christina.
All right. Thank you, guys. We will be back next week with another exciting episode. So buckle up.
Keep on thriving.
Keep on thriving. Thank you.